Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee is for Closer Business Series. We got my buddy Marcus Blair here from Omega Business Solutions.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me today, man. It's been a while since we got together.
Yeah.
So what we do here with the audience is just to people get to know your backstory a little bit, because entrepreneurs have an interesting journey and they're all very unique. How people get to a point where they jump in with both feet, man. And yours is no different in its uniqueness. So help people get an idea of what brought you to this point.
So in 2020, I was working in digital transformation for a multinational manufacturer, and we had some irregularities with the SEC, which led to us refiling our earnings, which led to the CEO getting fired. And then COVID happened, and so long story short, my entire department, so I was a general manager, I reported to the VP, and the VP reported to the CEO. The new CEO canned our entire department with a single phone call. Me, the VP, all of my colleagues, all of our direct reports, one phone call.
That was it.
Yeah.
Clean house.
Yeah, so then a few months later, I ended up starting a company that became Omega Business Solutions. And you know, I ran the business for a couple of years. It was much, much harder than I thought it was going to be from a management standpoint. The skills that you use at a corporation to manage a team, whether it's a cross-functional team or an international team or a technical team or whatever, they don't really translate over to small business all that well.
What's the basis for your comment there? Like they don't transfer over all that well? Because you got a safety net behind you, or what?
Yeah,
what
because
is that?
You're playing with house money.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So if you make a bad hire, it's like, oh, well, you know, this guy's hung around for 6 months or 8 months, and you know, he's making $100,000 a year. So made him $60,000, right?
Yeah. But the cost to hire him, train him, and there was
yeah,
you know,
but
$100.
Yeah, but it's like somebody else's money.
Right.
You know, it's somebody else's cash flow.
Good.
And you do that in a small business, man, you're gonna feel it. Right, because you had to pay all that out. It's not like
you feel the pain.
Like working for it. It's not like working for somebody else.
That's cool. Quite an interesting story you got there. But the thing is, now you have clarified your message.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do?
We help leaders choose and implement the right technology to grow their business. And the thing is, it can mean a lot of things, but if you try to shout out all of those things, then you're not going to connect anyone. We have retail customers that have 3 physical stores and an e-commerce store. You know, we have clients that are venture-backed software companies. We have cybersecurity firms, but fundamentally, they're all trying to do the same thing. We work with a founder or a leader inside of that business who has an eye on growth. So they either need to be more efficient, they need to modernize their operations or something like that, but they have to get from point A to point B. They either don't have the time or not exactly sure how to do it, and we can fill that gap. Okay. So we help them pick the right technology. And you know what? It doesn't always involve AI, even though that's not like the sexy thing to say right now.
Yeah, right on. So you feel good where you're at right now?
Yeah.
With the business. Good.
Yeah. So we've got into hosting local AI models.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, for other companies, because if you have IP or any sort of data like that, like in your line of work, you can't just chuck applications up to ChatGPT. Right, it has people's social security numbers and tax information, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But if you had your own private sitting there on your own computer, then you could use it. And so that's what we've got into now. And internally, we're in the middle of, we've been through several iterations of what I call Maggie, which is our internal AI. But Maggie now is getting a big upgrade. So we're taking all of our data, stitching it all together, and then giving Maggie access to it.
That's good stuff. All right, so we're gonna jump in. On all our videos, we talk about or ask 3 things of entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Number 1 is, what is your why?
My why. So when I was working at my last W-2 job, when I was still at CVG, I was a general manager, so I had direct reports, I had budget, I could sign purchase requisitions. You know, we were a publicly traded company, so I was overseeing projects at 14 different sites around the world. We were doing, I think, 750, 800 million a year. And I had the vice president of sales for one of the largest industrial integration companies in the world tell me that we weren't worth his time. And I just kind of stared at the phone because I was kind of slack-jawed and dumbfounded, right? But it started me thinking, well, if we're at $850 million a year and this is what's happening to us, then what's happening at $250 million a year?
Yeah.
What's happening at $50 million a year? What's happening at $5 million a year? If we can't get the help that we need, how are people smaller than us supposed to get the help that they need?
Okay.
And that's what got me thinking about what Omega eventually would become.
So eventually you start Omega, like you said, and then when you're defining your problem, the question we ask number 2 is, what problem do you solve?
Leaders want to grow their companies.
Okay.
And to do that, they need better technology and more efficient operations. We had a client last week call us and say she wanted to build an app.
Okay.
By the end of the phone call, she had completely abandoned that idea and scheduled a demo with a software provider. So instead of building an app, now she's got a $29.99 a month subscription. And this is all because on the call, we just asked the right questions.
Yeah.
What is she actually trying to do? And it's like, okay, you don't need to do that. You need to do this. And that's the kind of guidance that we can provide.
Very good. So you saved her a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's cool. A long-term investment. So she could grow.
Yeah.
Good. It's a good story. All right. I like it. And then number 3 is, what do people experience when they do business with you?
We are quite honest about where they are and where they're going. And because a lot of companies, a lot of our competitors, they sell one thing, right? They sell like one software package, or they want to build everything custom, or they just want to give a PowerPoint presentation and leave, right? And we're none of those things.
Yeah.
So it's like, just like the example I just gave, we could have sold her an app.
Yeah. Right.
She didn't need that, right? So it's just, we're very transparent. And the best solutions, the most elegant solutions, are the simplest ones, right? Do you want a simple solution, minimal time, minimal investment, that achieves the business goal that you're after?
Yeah.
That's what we delivered.
Very good. That was fantastic. It's good to hear.
No, good.
And I appreciate your time. So the last thing I do say is like, hey, I want to figure this out. I'm running an organization. Marcus, how do I connect with you? Like your organization, can you shout out, like, what do they call your hotline? How do people reach out?
So omegabusiness.us, and our primary social platform is LinkedIn. We have a semi-active Facebook account, and then I am Marcus at Omega at most major social media platforms. So LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Instagram, Reddit. I'm Marcus at Omega across all of them.
All right. Well, great, my man. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to
thanks
hear.
for the coffee.
Yeah, we appreciate your time and for watching today. You're having some issues on your where you want to go as a leader. Can't figure it out. It's a good man to call, reach out to.
We do what we can.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode of Coffee is for Closers. Bye-bye.